doing today? There we go. That is what I love to hear. My name is Bennett, if we have never met before, and I'm so excited that y'all are here. If it's your first time, we're gonna have a blast today. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna play a game, and then I have a giveaway winner for y'all. If you've been in tune with our Instagram, we had a giveaway this week, and then I have an announcement for y'all, super fun announcement, and then Jen Mazzola will be out here for the last part of our series. But like I said, we're gonna play a game first, and usually when we play a game, I would have some of y'all come up here and we compete a little bit, but I think we do it a little differently this week. So I got some dollar bills, and I got some questions. So I think I'm gonna come down and ask y'all some questions for this game. So let's see, who wants the first one? Who wants the first one? David, how many presidents, which president is on the $1 bill?
George Washington.
There you go. Let's see if you're right. And you're right. There you go. All right. Colby Driscoll. Where? Colby Driscoll. This one might be hard for you. Jackson, how do you spell the color red? How do you spell the color red? There we go. R-E-D, the color red. All right, who wants the next question? I don't know. What is the name of our solar system?
Milky Way.
There we go, the Milky Way. Sounds tasty. All right, Dakota. Is an eggplant a vegetable? No, it's not a vegetable, Dakota. It's not a vegetable. All right. Luke Berry, sing the chorus of Let It Go.
Let it go. There's no holding back.
All right, that's good enough. There you go, Luke. There you go. All right, we got one more $1. All right. Do 5 push-ups for $1. You got 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. There we go. There's your $1. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, Taylor. Throw a pillow at your best friend for $1. Throw it. There we go. There's your $1. All right, who wants the next one? All right, Brinley. What town does SpongeBob live in? The Bikini Bottom, Brinley. Come on, you took too long. All right. What is the largest state in the United States? There we go, Alaska. She is correct. I want to come back here, but I can't get to anybody. All right. Who wants the next one? Jordan, how many days are in a leap year? It was 66, Jordan. You were close. All right, let's see what other questions we got here. All right, Ryan, how many stars are on the U.S. flag? No, you took too long, Ryan. That was an easy one. All right, who sang the song The Yellow Submarine? Oh my gosh, you took too long. Come on, we gotta get these quick, guys. We gotta get these going quick. Who wants the next one? Jackson Emmanuel, how fast does the Earth spin? Once a day? Jackson, not even close. All right, who wants the next one? Matt Norcross. What's the name of a female deer? A doe? Of course Matt Norcross got that right. All right, Carter Wilson, you want a question? All right, Olivia, what do you call a fake noodle? There we go, an impasta. All right. Carter, you actually want one? All right, Caitlin, what is Spider-Man's real name? You took too long. We gotta get faster here. All right, my boy. Who lives at number 4 Privet Drive? You. That is not where I live. Please don't try to go there. All right. How many stars are on the U.S. flag? 50. There we go. He got that one right. Sorry, Ryan. He did what you couldn't. I'm sorry, Ryan. All right. Who wants next? All right, Macy. What is the largest continent?
Africa.
Oh my gosh, it's Asia. It's Asia. All right, Jasper. How often do you think of the Roman Empire? You don't? There's $1 for you, man. Nobody actually does, guys. All right. Dude, take this dollar. I accidentally dropped it. Take it. All right. Let's see what other questions we got here. If you could give me a second right here. All right. How did the Titanic sink?
Crash into an iceberg.
There we go. He got it. He has seen that movie. All right, who wants the next one? You want it? All right, Trent. Just kidding. All right, Luke Berry. Back to you. What is my third favorite color?
Black.
Oh, he got it. All right. Who wants the next one? Cardi, you want it? Come on, dude. All right. What is the rarest M&M? Brown. Oh my gosh, he got it. I don't know how. You must eat a lot of M&Ms. All right. Let's see. Who wants the next one? Who wants the next one? No one wants it? What's my name? No, you took too long. It's just my name. It's my name. All right. Carter Wilson. Spell paleontologist.
CarterWilson. Carter Wilson.
Carter Wilson. No, that is not how you spell paleontologist. All right. Summer, what color is a polar bear's skin?
Black.
Loki forgot it. It's black. There we go. It was black. All right. Who wants the next one? Ryan, you already got one. You already got some. All right, Pearson. Grab a piece of chicken for $1. You have 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Oh, he got the chicken. All right, here's your $1. Almost forgot. There you go. All right, who wants the next one? I'm coming around. We only got a few dollars left, guys. All right, Riley, what color is a giraffe's tongue? Oh my gosh, nobody else would have gotten that. All right, who wants the next one? Wait, who wants the next one? How many days are in a year? Oh, there we go, 365. And a leap year, it's 366. All right. Spell the word past time.
P-A-S-T-T-I-M-E.
Oh, he got it right. There we go. He can spell a first grade word. All right. Let's see. Cole Hines. Who is the oldest Kardashian sister? Kim? It's Courtney. It is not Kim. I would know. I watch it all the time. All right. Kobe Driscoll. All right. What is the name of the largest ocean?
The Pacific.
Oh my gosh, there we go. All right. Let me find a question. Camden, what does the E stand for in Chuck E. Cheese?
Edward.
It's entertainment. Edward. Where did Edward come from? All right, Colby. Among land animals, which animal has the biggest eyes?
Say it again.
You took too long, Colby. You took too long. All right. In what year was the Declaration of Independence created?
You got it. 1776.
You're probably right. Just take it. All right. Let me get my question sheet going. All right. Who wants one? Cruz, what is the Pythagorean theorem?
Yo, what?
This dude did not take 8th grade math. All right. What is the Pythagorean theorem?
A squared plus B squared equals C.
Oh my gosh, there you go. Get that diet, agree. All right, it's my last $1. This is my last $1. Who wants it? I gotta find a good question for this one. All right. Abby Owens, how many points is a touchdown worth? No, you took too long. You didn't say it in time. All right, my last one. Cass Winters. Who wrote the song Watermelon Sugar?
Dude, I don't know.
Oh my gosh, he doesn't know. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. All right. All right, Johnny, how many bones are there in a human body?
26.
That's probably how many there are in yours. All right, who's next? All right. Let me find a question. What do paleontologists study?
Bones.
Bones? You're close. It was fossils. You were close. I'm looking for exact answers here, all right? Jackson, how do you spell my middle name?
J.
We're supposed to be best friends. How do you not know that? All right. All right, all right. This is the last one, guys. Who wants it? Who wants it? Cole Burson.
Hello.
There's your dollar. He got it. All right. All right. I hope y'all had as much fun as I did doing that. But congrats if you got $1. Go buy a pack of gum. You might need 3 more, but just use it anyways. All right, so now, like I said, we have a giveaway winner. If you are on our Instagram, we posted a giveaway. And now, if we could get a drum roll to see who our winner is. Let me see who our winner is. It's Alexa Tosh. Everyone give a hand for Alexa Tosh. You got a fall basket. It is about to be October. These are the fall necessities that you need. There we go, there we go. Now, my announcement for y'all is that next week, Inside Out is hosting our first Stories Night. So what it is, we're gonna be here next week and we're gonna be celebrating a few of our students that are taking the next step in their faith and making their faith public through the act of baptism. So be here for that. You do not wanna miss it. Now, with all that being said, Jen Mazzola is gonna be up here for the last part of our series. Take a look at this video. Oh, shoot.
That was awesome.
Oh my God.
Make some noise if you're excited for House of Torment. There we go. If you have not been with us before for House of Torment, basically on October 29th, Inside Out is gonna start at 3:30. So every week we start at 4:30, but this week it is gonna start at 3:15. We're gonna come here, we're gonna have a normal Inside Out, and then we're gonna get on some buses and head over to the House of Torment. They open it up early just for us. You do not wanna miss it. It's gonna be so much fun. The cost of the ticket is $40. With the ticket, you get the transportation, your House of Torment ticker, and some limited exclusive merch that is only gonna be given on this day if you buy this ticket. So scan the QR code. You do not want to miss it. I'll give y'all a second to scan the QR code because I know all of you will. It is a ton of fun. You don't want to miss out on it. And now, finally, Jen Mazzola is going to be out here for the final part of our series.
All right, Inside Out. Hey guys, who's going to House of Torment? Do you feel like if you kept the slow clap going, they would all? It's the haircut. They're not going to follow you now after the haircut, Colby. It's not going to happen. I am so glad to be with you guys. All right, I feel like it's been a minute. If you haven't met me yet, my name is Jennifer Mazzola. I'm the one that when Matt just needs a break, they let the old person come up here so I can work on my cool, like, young person lingo, which I just learned a new word. It's chat. So, wow. Some are super excited about the word chat. I'm so sorry. Okay, yeah, I don't know how to use it. I've been told I've been using it wrong. But I just am so excited to be here with you. I am a small group leader, volunteer here at North Point and a part of the North Point family. I wanted to just wrap up our series, Thicker Than Water. Now, 2 weeks ago, Matt came out and shared with us the story of Joseph and his brothers. And he challenged us to consider, because family dynamics are real, right? Like, you guys are going to go home to some kind of family dynamic tonight. You probably spent some time this morning in some kind of family dynamic. And regardless of what our families look like, we've all got different tensions to manage in the worlds that we live in. But Matt said 2 weeks ago, what does it look like to actually continue to move toward them when really maybe the way we feel about them or even the way we've experienced them makes us want to move away? How can we keep moving toward them? And then last week, Jess and Matt just had an honest conversation. Because for many of you in the room, probably home is kind of like just normal in the sense like you have a little bit of tension. But for some of us in the room, it's literally a place of chaos and difficulty. And Jess shared her story, which doesn't get much more chaotic than what she's navigated. But she also shared what it looks like as we recognize that our parents shift from being our heroes when we're little kids to being humans, and all that comes with that and all the layers that come with that. Now, I want to share with you, I want to continue the conversation. I'm going to let you know this up front. I'm a parent. So even though I have also been a child, I have a mom and dad, I am going to be sharing with you probably how parents feel. And here's why I'm doing that. Because I think sometimes we frustrate you as parents and we make you tired. Like, show of hands, who their parents just exhaust them? If your parent's a small group leader, it's okay. You don't have to raise your hand. I already know. Right? And who has ever been discouraged by their parent or a step-parent or a guardian or a grandparent? Well, here's the deal. I want you to know as a parent, and I know some of your parents, I'm friends with them, we are exhausted too. We are tired too, and we are trying to figure it out with you. And I love that the Bible doesn't leave that off the table. We actually get tons of parenting and teenaging advice in Scripture. Now, we're going to look at two particular passages today. They're actually really, really similar, but they're written to two different groups in two separate letters by one author. Paul writes to two groups. He writes to the Colossians and the Ephesians, and he says, I have some advice for you. And this advice covered lots of different things, but today we're just going to look at advice to kids and to parents. But I think the things that you will learn actually apply across all your relationships. But let's see what Paul says first to the Ephesians. You're going to love it, because right out of the gate, Paul goes, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with a promise, so that it may go well with you and that you may enjoy a long life on the earth. But Paul doesn't stop by just telling kids what to do. He says also, parents, do not exasperate, meaning make tired, irritate, anger your children. Instead, bring them up in training and instruction of the Lord. He writes another letter, but it's going to sound super similar. You're going to hear it. He writes to the Colossians, and he says this. Children, obey your parents in everything, for this pleases the Lord. Also, more advice for parents. Parents, do not embitter, which means to irritate to anger your children, or they will become discouraged. Now, I felt like I couldn't have an honest conversation with you about parent-teen stuff without inviting my own children to come share with me. So would you guys mind if I brought Kyle and Parker out and let them share? Look at these. These are my boys. I think that's Carter whistling at you guys, I think. All right. I wanted them to be here because we're going to be honest about what it sometimes is like in the Mazzola household. And I think you'll probably find it's not that different than what most of you kind of navigate. But I'm going to ask Kyle to start now. If you haven't had a chance to meet Kyle, he's been away at school. Kyle and Parker both were in IO all 4 years. Parker was also a part of Transit for a year. Both graduated from Rouse. What's the Rouse thing that we do? This thing? Okay. Yeah, this. Okay. And also, like Kyle was a part of what I think is probably one of the best small group leaders on the planet, Eric Stark's small group. Eric was Kyle's small group leader, and I am forever thankful for that season of life. And so I just wanted to I'm going to actually let Kyle start us with our Ephesians stuff.
Yeah, all right. Hi, guys. My name is Kyle Mazzola. If I haven't got the chance to meet y'all, I was an intern last year at Camp 75, so you may have seen me running around. And like she said, I'm a 4-year InsideOut graduate. I've been here for a long time, but I've actually never spoken at InsideOut, so I'm super excited to be here and get to share this with y'all. But with that being said, we're just going to dive right into our verse, and this is First Ephesians, and it is, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother so that it may go well with you and that you may enjoy a long life on earth. And so the word we're going to focus on for us is honor. Like, that is my portion, is we're going to focus on that word honor. And actually, honor your father and mother is the 5th commandment out of all the 10 commandments. And the 6th one is thou shalt not kill. So I feel like this one's pretty important, right? Like, we should definitely focus on this one if it comes before thou shalt not kill. And see, honor is one of those virtues that we all love and we want done for us. But when other people ask us to show honor to them, it's difficult for us, right? Like, we don't always do it. It's easier said than done. So I want to talk about, like, why that is, why we should be honorful, what honorful means, like what honor means, like the simple definition. And so honor to me, since I've grown up, my mom put a sign in my room. I moved it to my closet so I didn't have to see it all the time, but this is the sign. It's honor. It says honor God, honor yourself, and honor others. So this is how I was taught honor. The sign has been in my room since I was born. So this is how I see honor. However, honor in the Bible is kind of under a different definition. Honor in the Bible is to seek to enhance the reputation of someone. Seek to enhance the reputation of someone. There it is. So it's building someone's legacy up, building someone's reputation, right? Like, how are you impacting their reputation? Building up their character and how people see them. And right, so a quick example I want to dive into is, like, how many of you guys have played sports, watched sports, or seen anybody ever wear a jersey, right? Like, everyone in here has probably seen someone wear a jersey, right? And so my first example of this is InsideOut's very own Jackson Arnault, right? QB1 for Vista. Any Rangers in here? Any Vista Ridge Rangers in here? Cool. Yeah, great start. Well done. Well done. So Jackson wears this jersey, right? Jackson is the quarterback for Vista, but he wears this jersey. And across the center of this jersey, it says Ridge, right? It doesn't say Arnault. It doesn't say quarterback. It says Ridge. And so this is kind of what, a jersey is. It's not representative of one person. It's representative of an entire team, right? Like, Jackson, when he puts on that jersey, he represents every player on the field and off the field, the student section, the coaches. He represents everyone. And it says Ridge on the middle of that, not Arnault, right? It's not a personal thing. It is building the reputation of others. So if Jackson doesn't work hard, it looks like Vista Ridge isn't working hard. If Jackson doesn't play good, it looks like Vista Ridge doesn't play good, right? Like, he is representative of the entire team. And I want to talk to y'all about, honestly, we all put on a jersey every day. Now, we don't see it, but we all put on a jersey every day, and that jersey is your last name. So that jersey is your last name, and we wear it every day. Mine looks a little bit like this. I actually don't know what jersey this really is, but this is my jersey, right? I wear the Missoula jersey every single day. I wear it on my back every single day. If I'm in college, I'm wearing the Missoula jersey. If I'm standing on stage, I'm wearing my Missoula jersey, right? Like, I am wearing the jersey of my last name every single day. And so I want to talk to you about, like, that's important. You are building and enhancing the reputation of the people who came before you, of your parents. And then one day when you are parents, you will be forming the reputation that your kids carry, right? Like, the last name, the jersey that you put on every day is super, super important. And then to get to my next point, our guardians and our parents, oftentimes when we wear their last name, we're representing something like this picture. This is a picture of a dad getting drenched in the rain and holding an umbrella over his son, right? Our guardians and our parents, or the people that care about us, maybe it's even a small group leader for you, they typically resemble this picture, right? They are holding umbrellas over your head so that your life is easier, so that your life is less rainy, right? And honestly, our parents and our guardians lay down a lot of stuff for us. Like, some examples are, they lay down their money. They lay down their time. Some of us, they even lay down their dreams, right? And like, they lay down their wants, their day-to-day wants. You think your parents want to do a lot of the stuff that you want to do? No, probably not, right?
No,
like,
they don't.
There you
Because
go.
they're like, maybe, no.
There you go. So they lay down a lot of things for us every day. And honestly, guys, I want to talk about now, what is the most honoring thing you can do for your parents? And the best way to honor your parents is to truly honor yourself. That is the best way. Your parents don't want life to be hard for you. In fact, they do everything to make your life easier. They are sacrificing, your guardians are sacrificing day to day to make your life less bad than theirs, right? Like, and if you don't believe that, well, then maybe, like, try asking them real quick, right? Like, ask them why they do the things that they do for you. And honestly, the best way you can honor your parents is to take what they have given you, take the sacrifice. Take what they have given you and become the best version of yourself. And you may be sitting in the room and be like, my parents haven't given me anything. And I'll be like, well, no, they've taught you what not to do, and that may be the greatest gift they can give you, right? So take what they have given you and become the best version of yourself, right? Be like this. Don't ever forget your parents, this image. Like, do not ever forget this image of a dad holding an umbrella. Like, look to the sunny skies, right? But, like, remember who was holding an umbrella over your head on the rainy days, right? And then be that person for other people. And this is just, there's just some practical ways to do that and take this next step and honor your parents. Is one, take note of their sacrifice. Every day they make sacrifices, every single day. Like little things, cooking food, paying your mortgage. Like every day they make sacrifices for their money and their time. Next is say thank you for their time. If you're a freshman or sophomore in here and you get rides from your parents, you better be saying thank you every single time, because that is their time that they are using on you, right? Like they are using their time to benefit you. Appreciate everything they have done for you and do for you. And this is as simple as saying, I love you to your parents. And we don't say that enough, right? Like we do not say, I love you enough. It's as simple as being appreciative for what they have done and where they have gone for you. And so I would just challenge y'all next week, when you're talking about honor, just do those 3 things and apply that over the next week.
So if I say I love you, Kyle, you'll say it back right now?
I love you too.
Thank you. Oh, and that's sweet. I love that. By the way, those are only moms clapping. Yes, yes. So I love that Paul says, like, hey, honor, and it feels like when you read this verse, you're like, wait a minute, of course it's honor my parents. I'm supposed to do all the things my parents tell me. It's all about my parents. But actually what Paul is saying and what Kyle just explained, this is actually really about you. You becoming the best version of you works for you too. It is honoring to your parents, but it works out for you too. But Paul jumps right on parents too, right? So he says this, he says, parents, do not exasperate, make tired, exhaust your children. Instead, bring them up in the training and instruction of the Lord. Now, there's so much to unpack here, but I just kind of want to focus in, because for you guys, everybody has a different parent situation going on, right? Some of you are in blended families. You've got some step-parent dynamics going on. You've got your own parents. And every parent is unique, partly because of personality as well as experiences. But in theory, there are stages of parenting. Now, this is going to sound like I'm talking to you like you are parents, and this will be good for you to know in the future, but I just want you to ask yourself, where might my parents be in these stages? So this is what, in theory, psychology, other sociologists say, this is what parenting should kind of look like, right? You start out with the discipline years. You're about, this is when you are like born, toddler, up to about 5 years old. And this should be very much like black and white thinking. Like, here, don't do this, this is the consequence. Don't do that. Yes, no, stop, go, right? This is that kind of season of parenting. I actually thought, and I thought it was super strong in the season of parenting. I know everybody does it differently. Some people are kind of like a timeout family. Who had like a timeout family? You got in trouble when you were young and you were little, timeout. We spanked, and until, those are also only moms. One really enthusiastic dad's back there, yeah. So for us though, but you're clapping, but here's the deal. I really thought I was good at this until one time I was spanking Kyle, and Kyle was laughing as I was spanking him. And then when my husband came home, Kyle said, Dad, Mom's spankings feel like marshmallows on my butt. And so we had to make a shift to continue these discipline years. And boys, I know you'll remember, who is this? Who's up on the screen? Who is this right here, this image? Right, who is that?
Sad Sally.
That is Sad Sally. And you did not want to be out in public and Sad Sally came out. Sometimes I would have in my purse and I'd be like, here's Sad Sally. But here's the deal. I can't stay in the discipline years forever. I can't stay there. Let's go back to that list of the different stages of parenting. Then I'm supposed to enter the training years from about 5 to 12. And the idea here is it's no longer like yes and no and stop and go. It's more like, hey, this is why we say no. This is how we do this. So it's a lot more together, like we're doing things together. This is how we clean our room. This is how we study and we do our homework. This is how and why we do the things we do, and we're doing it together. And then in theory, we're supposed to go to this next phase. And this is where most of you should be with your parents. And it's the coaching phase. So think about it this way. If I'm practicing in my training, I've given you the playbook in the discipline years. I'm practicing with you during the training years, but now it's your time to get in the game. Now, I'm still here, but in theory, I should be on the sidelines. And you should be running your plays because you know, and we've talked about it, and then you come back to me, and we're just going to keep coaching and talking through it and thinking through it, right? Because then the ultimate goal, and this is what Matt talked about a couple weeks ago, right? Where it's like you actually want to come home when you don't have to come home. And that's because you move into a friendship season, right? This is the goal. But can I just be honest with you? As parents, sometimes we don't go through all of these and you can't skip them. Like you think you can sometimes. And you go right to the friendship phase. And we're just going to be BFFs from right out of the gate. This is kind of how I was raised. My mom wanted to be my friend way more than I think she wanted to deal with having to parent me because I wasn't super easy to parent. So we were friends. I probably had way more information. I had no rules. I heard things I probably shouldn't have heard. And honestly, there was just a part of me that wanted someone to tell me no. But she kind of went right to the friendship phase. But other parents kind of get stuck in the discipline phase. I actually think did strong in the discipline phase, especially once Sad Sally came on the scene. I skipped training. And then I just was like, I'm a coach. So I would have this expectation on my kids that made no sense because I hadn't actually trained them. I'd be like, you know what to do, go make those grades. Well, okay, you had to actually sit down and do the work together for a chunk of years, right? And so then you take that, the reality that I didn't necessarily go through all these very well, and then you add my personality. If you were here a few Sundays ago in the morning, I shared that I am a nothing is good enough person, which meant I was a nothing is good enough parent. If the boys came home with a 90, I wanted to know where the other 10 points were. They couldn't make their beds correct enough. They had to be respected. At church, they had to have impeccable manners. Hated chewing with your mouth open. Like still, there's something that jumps up in me when that happens. Like it was never, ever good enough. And if I'm honest, that exhausted my kids. It made them tired. It exasperated them. It embittered them, like what Paul's talking about. Because I had a parent, as a parent, needed to look at these phases and look at myself. And that's not easy to do as a parent, guys, either. Because some of us were never taught this stuff. We weren't trained, we weren't coached, and we don't have good friendships with our adult parents. And then God drops you guys in our laps, and we're like, oh, okay, I guess I'll figure this out as I go. And that's why we end up in this tension in this space. Now, I want to invite Parker up to share about Colossians.
Yeah, hi guys, I'm Parker. If I haven't had the chance to meet you yet, I'm super excited that you're here, and I want to start off by introducing myself. A little bit about me. I got two questions that I know are going to come up, so I'm going to go ahead and answer them. Is one, that I am the favorite son of my mom, like no doubt about it. If you ask her, she's not going to tell you, but it's true. And then two is I am the younger brother, but if we got into a fight, I would win. Like you don't have to ask me because it's true. Like the younger brothers always win. Raise your hand if you're a younger brother in here. Don't younger brothers always win, right? Yeah, younger brothers always win. No, but in all seriousness, though, I graduated IO in high school in 2023, and I just started college at the University of Texas, and so I love it there. I really, really do. But I am super excited to be back. There's something different about being back at Inside Out, and especially being able to share with you guys. I get to share on Colossians chapter 3, verse 20 today, and it reads, "Children, obey your parents in everything, for this pleases the Lord." So the main phrase in this is obey your parents, and it's talking about the concept of obedience, and I know you guys know, like, okay, we're at Inside Out, we're at church, we're going to learn about obedience, we're going to learn about temptation, we're going to learn about things like this. And yes, you're right, we are going to talk about that today, but I don't want it to be some draining thing. I want to tell you guys the benefits of practicing obedience and avoiding temptation, not just get on to you guys about how much you're disobedient or how much you succumb to temptation. So the first thing I think that can make obedience a little bit easier is, the first thing that I think makes obedience difficult is temptation. And so this idea of temptation is, right, whenever we want something, we know it might not be bad for us, but we do want it. I think there's two types of temptation. There's innate temptation, which is the temptation that is inside of you. It exists as a human, right? There's things that we naturally want as humans. We naturally want to have a good time. We naturally want success, and we're willing to do disobedient things in order to get that. There's natural temptations that come with being human. I think there's also influence temptation. This is temptation from your peers. This is what you guys are experiencing a lot of right now. There's peer pressure. It's a big thing in high school, where your friends are cool and they do it, or they got away with it, so you want to do it too. I wanted to share you guys a quick story of when I succumbed to temptation in high school. So it takes me back to my freshman year. I was dating this girl named Kayla. I think we actually have a picture of me and Kayla freshman year. That's a terribly bad photo, and I honestly hate that I'm sharing that. But that is me and Kayla freshman year, and the thing about me and Kayla is that we were best friends. We weren't just dating, we were best friends. We wanted to be with each other and have a good time all the time. So every minute that we were in school, we tried to be together. The only problem was I played basketball in high school, and she played volleyball in high school, and we both had pretty strict parents. Sorry, Mom, but it's true. We both had pretty strict parents. So we weren't able to hang out that often. So one night, I was feeling a little bit of temptation, and I made a decision. Before I tell you guys the decision, I want to share with you kind of what was going through my head. I had a feeling of innate temptation of wanting to be with Kayla really, really bad and wanting to have a good time. I also had the feelings of influence temptation, where I saw my friends going out, not having a curfew, being able to hang out with whoever they wanted, whenever they wanted. And I saw my friends even actually doing things like sneaking out. So what I decided to do was I decided one night, I think it was like 12:30, I decided to lift up the glass part of my window.
Like 1 or 2.
Like 1 a.m., sure. I decided to lift up the glass part of my window, take some scissors, and cut the screen that is in between the glass and the outside. And I jumped through it. And so I snuck out of my house. And that's just a story to give you guys some giggles and relate with you guys on I succumbed to temptation as well. But 2 pieces of advice real quick is, one, if you're gonna sneak out, just pop the screen out. Like, you can actually just take it out. Like, you don't have to cut it. It's just not worth it. And then also, don't sneak out. It's not worth it. You're gonna get in trouble. You're gonna get grounded for 3 months and have to like pay for a new screen. It's terrible, so don't do it. The next thing that I think actually makes obedience hard is pride, right? We all have this innate feeling of pride. It's another thing kind of like innate temptation. It's kind of is bruised within inside of us. And pride is this feeling that whenever we are told what to do, we feel like we're being told we're inferior. So we want to put ourselves above our authority. C.S. Lewis, a great British writer, once said that pride is the great sin. And he said this because it exalts oneself over God. If we think about it, pride is putting ourselves over authority. The authority in our lives is God. If we put ourselves over God, if we're being prideful, we're putting ourselves over God. That is the great sin. And it leads to a lot of disobedience. I think another thing is the fear of messing up. I think a lot of us actually have this fear of not being enough, fear of messing up, or fear of not pleasing God. And I think it leads to a lot of disobedience. I think the best example I can give you guys is think about either maybe this is you or in your classes or something, but there's always someone who doesn't really care about school. You know, they don't care about their grades. And they say that they're lazy or they just don't care. But in reality, what if it was they were afraid of not being good enough? They were afraid that if they fully tried and applied themselves, they still wouldn't be as good as everybody else. So I think they use disobedience kind of as an escape, right? And so I gave you those 3 things that make obedience difficult. I want to give you 2 things that can kind of make obedience easier, right? Remember, the whole thing is I'm encouraging you guys because if we apply and practice good obedience, we can have a better life. So the 2 things that I think can make obedience easier is the first one is identifying voices whenever we're tempted, right? So whenever we're tempted, like I said earlier, we have this feeling of where we want something, maybe this thing feels good, or this person is awesome, or I want this status, but there's a little bit of hesitation on the other side. I think if we identify that hesitation, that voice that is telling us maybe not, is actually God's voice. Growing up in church, I always thought that God had to come from some thundering voice above or something that was super deep, manly voice that was going to just demand me to just stop. But in reality, God created each and every single one of us. God is inside each and every single one of us. So he doesn't have to call from the heavens. He can tell us on the inside. And that's exactly what he's doing in those moments when you're tempted. I think the next thing that you can do in order to avoid disobedience is by stepping outside of your shoes, taking a little bit of perspective and thinking about why a rule might be in place before you choose to follow or not follow the rule. I think if my mom would have told me that there wasn't a rule or that there was a rule of no sneaking out, that I wasn't allowed to sneak out,
That felt like it was implied. Like
I would have probably
you don't
thought,
sneak out. Like, I didn't know I needed to write that down.
if I would have known that was a rule, I would have stepped outside of my shoes and maybe thought, okay, why is this rule in place? I think one is maybe because it's illegal. You literally aren't allowed to sneak out. Like, you're not allowed to be out in the middle of the night as a minor. And then I think, 2, it would have been, well, she knows that being out in the middle of the night is honestly not a great decision because it just leads to a ton of more temptations. And I know you guys might hear that and be like, what? Like, you're lame, you're a loser. But I just finished high school. I know how much fun that it can be to be out in the middle of the night with your friends or whatever it is. But if I think back on my high school experience, the biggest mistakes that I ever made, they all happened in the middle of the night. And I think my mom knew that ahead of time, and she was trying to protect me from that. And so I think if I would have taken a step outside of my perspective, I might have thought about that and then practiced a little bit better obedience. And with that, I want to give it to my mom to finish with the next verse of Colossians.
Yes, just in case anyone needs to hear this, it's a general rule. Don't sneak out. Just in case you need to hear that. You know, so as Paul continues with his advice to parents, he says this: parents, do not embitter, which right to make exhaust to irritate your children, or they will become discouraged. It's very similar to the other thing that we read in Ephesians, right? But I want to focus in on this, or they will become discouraged. Because I think sometimes you guys are discouraged. Right, and what's funny is, like, if I actually step out of even just this bits and pieces of advice from Paul, the whole letter is actually a bunch of advice, right? Paul's giving advice because he thinks he's got something helpful to say. He doesn't just talk to children and parents. He gives advice about marriage in these letters, about other family dynamics, about work relationships, and about church relationships. There's all sorts of advice in these letters. But one of the things he is doing is explaining to people, I know that you are discouraged. The entire audience would have heard these letters and understood Yeah, we are discouraged. We are tired. We are having a hard time. And so as Paul continues his advice, let's go on to the next couple of slides. Right, to all these different groups of people, we just realize the reality is that Paul is talking to people and he knows that it's not easy. So please understand, one of the things that Matt really wanted to make sure this entire series is that we know you guys figuring out growing up is not easy. We also know for parents it's not easy, and sometimes that gets in the way. And what if Paul knew that your life wasn't always going to be easy? And what if God actually understood that your particular dynamic between you and your parents or your guardians would not be easy? And he knew it because he designed it that way. So that tension you've got, what is it, beef? Is that what we call it? That beef you've got with your parents, right? What if that's on purpose? Look at Genesis, the very first book, right out of the gate. God says this, for this reason a man will leave his father and mother, and then he continues to explain why you guys will eventually leave your parents, and you will start your own families. A show of hands, who in this room has a ventromedial prefrontal cortex? Thank you, only Bennett does. You all do. You all have it, right? Okay, it's a part of your brain. It's a part of your brain. And it is, you've heard us talk before how it's not fully developed, but here's the deal. A few years ago, they started kind of diving deeper into that part of the brain and doing more scans. And they discovered something that I think might help you understand your issues and tensions with your parents. In that region of your brain, when you are a toddler, when you are around this age, this is Kyle and Parker when they were little, we just shoved Parker in lockers. That's why he's weird now. So, but when they are this little, that portion of their brain only lights up when mom or dad talk. Like it lights up. But it's when they're a baby, when they are a toddler, when they are younger. And it's designed for survival of a species, right? Like it kind of makes sense that, yeah, the baby would be able to attach to mom, would be able to attach to caregiver, right? But what happens as you are growing up, literally, physically, psychologically, that portion of your brain actually starts to light up differently, right? And so your preference in your brain actually shifts from your brain preferring your parents' voice to your brain preferring outside voices. Your vocal preference, like the brain scans that they do, starting at around age 13, ironically enough. Like we know there's all sorts of changes, right, in that season of life, but do you understand that your brain is actually made in a way that scientifically your parents' voices should be getting on your nerves? It should be driving you crazy because your brain is disconnecting a little bit from them and focusing more on outside voices. That's also why it feels like what your friends think and say is more important than your parents right now. It's also why what's happening socially in your social world, if you might miss it, you have a lot of anxiety often. And it feels like what's happening in your social world is more important than what's happening in your family. Let me distinguish something though. That's what it feels like. Your feelings make sense. That doesn't mean that's what's wise. You're going to get pulled in about 1,000,001 directions, and if you aren't being aware, if you're kind of on autopilot and just letting your brain do its thing and not really thinking through the things that run across your mind, you're going to get pulled up in these directions, and you're going to think that it's because your parents are against you. It's actually not. You are just growing up, and that's hard for you, and that's hard for them. And Paul knew it wasn't easy for his audience either. Paul also knew some other stuff.
Yeah, so Paul would have known that the people that would have heard these letters or hearing these letters would have been exhausted. And just some context behind that, like the people who were reading these letters were being constantly persecuted and chased for their newfound faith of Christianity, right? So at the time they were being pursued, they were being cruel to, they were being treated really badly, and even to the point of death. And it's weird because we're sitting in this room and we have the religious choice to be here in a safe and fun environment, right? But that is the reality of the context. And see, the overall of all the chapters that Paul had and we have been talking about is Paul says, hey, it's tough. Life is not easy. But if we can learn to be wise and healthy in the uneasy places, these places of family and relationship will be better because of it. And I don't know about you guys, but honestly, some days I just feel exhausted, right? Exhausted. And whether that's with I have, school, and I have homework, and I have friends, and I have family, and I have girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is, I just feel exhausted, right? And I think all of us do on certain days. We just all have those days of feeling exhausted. Sometimes it's with my mom, and sometimes I just argue with her, and then when I get home and she starts talking to me, I'm just like, I got it. Leave me alone. I got it. I'm going to my room. I got it, right? Sometimes it's with this one right here. I think we have a picture of him. Yeah, this one right here. Sometimes it's with this one right here, and I am just, yeah, I totally did. I'm just exhausted by him right there. And I don't know if y'all know about this. If you went to high school with him or in here with him, like you probably don't know this. He is the loudest person of all time and makes the most random noises and has like the most, like he can't sit still. And his singing, I don't even have words for how bad his singing is. But anyway, I think that like what Paul's talking about when he says this isn't going to be easy, and when I struggle with my mom or I struggle with Parker, I think Paul's trying to lead me back to one singular word, and that word is grace. And I just want to sit with that for a second. That word is grace. And see, I think our world as a whole needs more grace, right? I think we as a people need more grace. And Paul says things will not be easy. Like, you guys aren't going to get along. There are going to be fights. He's going to say something. I'm going to say something. There's going to be misunderstandings. But Paul is instructing us to wipe that all clean and give grace. And it all comes back to that one word again of giving grace to the people in your family specifically who just make you exhausted. See, most of the times as kids, we typically think of our parents as perfect or all-knowing, right? Like, I'll be like, oh, I caught you. You messed up. You know, like, oh, you said that wrong thing. Oh, you're just like, I'm excited when they mess up, right? We think of them as perfect or all-knowing. But next time you feel that way, I want you to take a step back and like think to yourself and think like, this is their first time doing life too. This is attempt number 1 for them. Like, this is their first time raising you. Like, they didn't get 2 tries at this. Like, this is their first time. This is their first try, right? So they're gonna mess up. They're human. I would hope so, right? Like, if they didn't mess up and were perfect, that would be scary. Like, they are going to make mistakes. They're going to say wrong things. But just remember, this is their first time at life, too.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I don't know if I'm the loudest in the family. I think I just bring the color to the family. I don't know if y'all have like people in y'all's family. Like, when I left, I told my mom and my dad, I was like, I don't know how y'all are going to laugh anymore because y'all just don't have me around anymore. Y'all are just like there.
Yeah. No one laughs.
No, I think that's a great point. I wanted to talk on the point that Paul knew that if we could keep working to love one another well, things would change and things would get better. I think the key phrase in here is obviously keep working, right? Keep trying, keep going, don't stop, never give up. I think I think nowadays when we grow up, I'm sure I can relate with you guys, I can say we in this, is that we've always been told by grandparents, parents, professors, teachers, whatever it is, that we're super spoiled, right? We have like phones and we can get everything at the touch, like with the snap of a finger. Everything is at our fingertips. Everything is immediate, and we've always been told that. I don't know about you guys though, whenever I get told that, I always kind of get defensive. Like somebody comes up to me and tells me, you're so spoiled, you get all the technology that you have. I always get defensive. I'm always like, well, one, like, I'm sorry that you're old and you didn't get that technology. That's not my fault. And then I think, 2, is like, actually, I disagree. I don't think that it's a blessing. I don't think that we're spoiled. I actually kind of think that it makes life harder a little bit. I think because everything is so immediate and just given to us and kind of at the touch of our fingers, we're able to avoid the opportunities that would teach us that working hard is actually incredibly beneficial and that working hard will lead to success if you continue and keep going. Think about music nowadays. We have like record players and stuff, me and my buddies do, just for like an aesthetic, like a cool, like, oh, it's cool to toss a record on there. Like, my mom had to use that. Like, that was her only source of music. Like, that was it.
I did not.
Like, she had to use that.
I did not use a record player.
We get to open our phones up, click on Apple Music, not Spotify, just Apple Music. Click on, yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah. Click on Apple Music, and we get whatever song we want. Everything is given immediate to us, and so we lose out on the opportunities to notice and see the fruits of our labor. But I think there is still a few opportunities that can teach us that. I think the best example I can come up with you is, who all in here lifts weights? Who lifts weights, like routinely, like actually lifts? Nice, that's a lot, that's a lot. Carter Wilson's really proud about it, yeah. No, that's a lot, good. As you guys can tell, like me and Kyle, we don't really lift weights. We don't, I can't lie. I played basketball in high school, so I lifted like within those practices and stuff, but I never really took up lifting on my own, and the reason is because I would go and get that motivation, kind of like a New Year's resolution. I'd get like a week, and I'd go to the gym every morning, and I'd be like, whoa, this is awesome. And then I'd look at myself in the mirror at the end of the week, and I would realize I looked no different. And so I would just be like, yeah, I'm done, I quit. And I wouldn't keep going. And I think that's because I'm so used to getting the immediate that I don't see that if I were to keep going, keep working out for the next 3 months, 6 months, or a year, I would see some real growth. If I would have applied that mindset to lifting, I might be a little bit bigger than I am right now. I think also if I would apply that mindset to my relationships, with my parents especially, my relationships might be a little bit better than they are right now. I think about freshman and sophomore year, my relationship with my mom and my dad, who's back there. We didn't have the best relationship. We constantly argued. Got back and forth. We were never on the same page. It just wasn't good. It was rough. But then at some point, freshman and sophomore year, I decided I'm gonna love my parents well, and I'm gonna try to be obedient. Now, this doesn't mean I was perfect at it, but I'm gonna try my best to be obedient every single day. I know it's difficult. I know it's annoying, right? The sound of my mom's voice does get annoying. Like, I love her, but like when she's telling me what to do all the time, it gets annoying. But if I decided in every single day to make a decision just to love her well and to keep going, keep trying, and keep going, like I did in that moment, we have a great relationship now, my mom and my dad. I think about what Matt said last week. I have a relationship so good with my parents now that I come home even when I don't have to. Like, I'm in college now, I'm living life, I'm having a good time, but I still want to see my parents because I love them. They're genuinely my best friends, and that's all because I've decided to love them and be obedient and keep working at that, okay? It takes a while, but keep working at that.
Okay, so we're going to pray and then send you to small groups, but you heard what Matt shared 2 weeks ago, right, about leaning into your family. Jess was just real. Some of you have some really tough family situations to step back into, and I hope that you heard from us that while the Bible verses talk about you guys obeying and you guys honoring, it's actually for your benefit. And Paul is equally as tough on parents to not exhaust you, but we're trying to figure it out to you. So I want you to go to your small groups, though, and I want to challenge you to answer this one, or fill in the blanks on this one statement. Let's look at that statement real quick. I want you to be able to tell your small group leader, I'm going to try doing blank to better my relationship with blank. Now, obviously, we spend a lot of time talking about parents, but it could be grandparents, crazy uncles, siblings. Apparently, you two have some stuff to work out. Like, whatever your statement is, I want you to go to your small group leader and say, okay, I'm going to actually try to do this to move the dial a little bit with this relationship. All right, your small group leaders know, and so you get an opportunity to share that with them. Let me pray for you real quick and get you to groups. Father, I thank you for my parents. I thank you for the joy of being a parent, and I thank you for all the future parents in the room. But Lord, it is going to be exasperating and embitter, and honor and obedience is hard. So we need to recognize your voice, to keep fighting to lean in, and that you would just be so loud and clear when we are leaning away. And Lord, that you would calm our minds when it just makes so much sense to be irritated, that you would just invade our thoughts and help us move forward and lean in. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, guys, go to your small group.
We started at 5:10. Because I remember when the timer started, I was like, oh, I'm nearly 100%.